Hi guys, it's me, Indy. Last week I took a little trip back to my hometown for my sister's wedding, and while I was on the plane, I was reading all different Nancy Drew books to kind of pass the time, and I started thinking about all the different ways my hometown is similar and different to River Heights, so that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. So when I was in the airport waiting for my plane, I actually did some research and I found this really cool website that kind of compares all the different books and games and movies and television little tidbits that they can pick up on characteristics of River Heights, and it compares it to like 4 or 5 main states that are the main contenders. And I was really excited to learn that the states on either side of me, unfortunately Indiana isn't a main contender where people think River Heights is located, but Illinois and Ohio are both high up there on the list. And Illinois, I'm very close to the Illinois border where I live. I live right by Lake Michigan, so I can live with River Heights being located in Illinois. And she talks about in the books that she can just drive up to Chicago. That is definitely something you could do in my hometown. So that's the first big similarity between my hometown and River Heights. The next big similarity between my hometown and River Heights is, I think, the weather. It seems like anytime Nancy needs to go chase someone in her blue roadster, all of a sudden it starts pouring rain or there's a snowstorm coming in, something like that. And that definitely happens where I live. The other similarity that I came across that was really fun to find out was that we have a lot of the same landmarks. So Nancy talks all the time about going to the yacht club or going sailing, things like that. I live right by Lake Michigan. That is definitely something that we have in common. There's just a lot of other little landmarks. In the game, there's Scoop's Ice Cream Shop, and I actually worked at an ice cream shop when I was in high school. It was all very much pig theme. It was really cool. I still remember there was like 118 scoopers, I think, on the ceiling, so definitely think we have a lot of the similar landmarks in the city. However, my city hall or town hall, whatever you want to call it, is not in rubble. It's never been burned down, so that's one big difference that River Heights and my hometown have. Now, one other big difference is I do not have a dog named Togo in my life. I'm definitely more of a cat person. You know, I babysit my aunt's dogs all the time, but I'm definitely more of a cat person at heart. Back at home, I have 2 really cute cats. They're tortoiseshell. Their names are Miley and Lily. Yes, they're named after Hannah Montana. You can't blame me. Hannah Montana was really popular when I was younger and first got my cats. Now, maybe pushing it, but one similarity that River Heights and my hometown have in common are kind of the underground tunnels that you find in Alibi and Ashes. It actually may be more similar to Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake than River Heights, but I still think it's really cool. So Al Capone actually used to have a house in my neighborhood. Now where I live, it's right by Lake Michigan, and so it tends to be a lot of vacationers have houses there, and very few people actually live there full time. And so it's kind of a perfect, quiet place. The streets are very winding, curvy. They're all named after the different Indians and things like that used to live there. And so even though I've lived there my whole life, it can be very confusing to navigate where I'm trying to go. And so rumor has it that why Al Capone had his house there is because he could go do whatever in Chicago, the cops start chasing him, he can go over the border into my hometown, and it's a lot harder for cops to chase you over state lines. So then once he'd get to his house had underground tunnels. There was rumors that there are 3 tunnels. Actually, no, I know for a fact there's 3 tunnels. They're condemned now, but one of the tunnels would go out to the road, so that if the cops showed up at his house, he could have a car waiting for him and get away that way and lose the police and all the windy, twisty roads in my hometown. The other tunnel went to the beach, and he'd have a boat waiting there that he could quick go out into Lake Michigan, I don't know, go back to Chicago, go somewhere else. The third tunnel would go off into the woods, because where I live is very wooded. You honestly wouldn't even know that you're by the beach until you get like on the same street as the beach, because otherwise it just feels like you're in a campground. So it was kind of a perfect little hideout for him, which is why it reminds me of Mickey Malone and Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake. But what's kind of cool is that his house was actually shaped like a gun, and just that whole thing with the tunnels and Al Capone, and that just seems like to me some sort of mystery that would happen either in River Heights or around River Heights that Nancy would have to solve. Now, there's a million differences between my hometown and River Heights that I could get into, but I really like to think that my hometown is a lot more similar to River Heights than it is different, just because that means that I'm a lot more like Nancy Drew than I am different. Let me know how similar you think your hometown is to River Heights. Comment below and don't forget to subscribe.